In this video, I'm going to tell you something that nobody else is telling you about when it comes to these. But before I do that, imagine this. Think what it might have been like for our ancestors. Go back 40,000 years. What do you think they were hearing at nighttime? Perhaps the rustling trees, the stream, a river, the wind, maybe the odd owl. Now, what would happen if they heard something very strange? Of course, they'd wake up. Why? Because it could be danger to the tribe. It could be a predator. Now, think of the present day. Maybe even think about what you're hearing right now. Cars, alarms, broken glass, drunk people, your family, your neighbors, house noises, you name it. And I'm sorry to say, we haven't really evolved much in the last 40,000 years. The difference between humans then and now, genetically, biologically, not much difference. Therefore, our sleep is being disturbed all the time. That's where these can come in. I've been using earplugs for nearly 15 years now. It kind of came around because I'd be asleep as a university student and then 3 in the morning, boom, bash, bang, it's my drunken housemates coming back or someone causing issues outside, and the next day I'm like a zombie. Like when you're sleepy and tired, you're just not yourself. You're like a half human, or at least I was. So I got into using earplugs, and I've been using them ever since. And to say they're a bit of a lifesaver, need to drop them. To say they're a bit of a lifesaver would be not an understatement. Now, I promise to actually tell you about something that no one else is talking about. So here we go. When it comes to these, have you watched any video out there that talks about if they're actually safe and what the ingredients actually are? I bet you haven't. All these videos saying, oh, what's the most comfy, which has the highest amount of sound blocking, what prices are they, da-da-da-da-da. But are they actually safe? And I'm not talking about can they hit your ear canal or are they going to have like some build-up of wax. I'm talking about the materials. Now, in the link I put in the description, I put a study from the Danish government on what actually are the materials in a lot of earplugs. And the reality is, most of them are made out of plastics. Many have been sprayed with chemicals that are there to stop them from getting dirty or other aspects that make them feel different or the coloring, whatever it might be. And I think it's quite healthy to have some level of skepticism over a number of these products. Specifically these types, foam earplugs, the most common earplugs out there. They're made out of plastic. Now, there's an issue with plastics, okay? Nearly all plastics release small microplastics, and our body absorbs nearly everything it's in contact with, our skin in particular. And these are in contact with our skin. And there's quite a few studies out there showing the estrogenic effects of plastics. There's a lot of phthalates, apes, a lot of compounds in plastic that are basically endocrine disruptors. Now, I can't tell you with absolute certainty right now if earplugs are going to have a negative effect on your hormones, on your body weight, if there's a lot of negative effects linked with estrogenics, with endocrine disruptors. But the fact is, they are plastic, they aren't touching your body. Therefore, based on at least what's out there, you should be quite skeptical. You should look at the ingredients of the earplugs you're buying. And my general recommendation would be, and I'll show you very quickly, to look at earplugs made from natural products. So silicone is probably the most common, but actually look at the ingredients. Look at what they're made from, if they're sprayed with anything, see if they're non-toxic. So where possible, look at organic, look at natural made products for earplugs. A, it's better for the environment no matter what. There's no debate on that. So they are not going to have some of the issues externally in terms of degrading and so forth, but also they're much more likely to be safer for your health. Take that as you will. Nonetheless, I've had a very good experience using earplugs. So I'm going to give you a few more pointers here. First of all, one of the most common complaints people say when we talk about earplugs is comfort. They don't feel comfortable. I can't wear earplugs. My main comment for this for people is they weren't comfortable for me either at first. These things are not natural. Humans are not meant to have earplugs. So let's just start with that to begin with. So it's no wonder that they're not comfortable. The only thing I can tell you is it just takes time. You will normally need to take 4 or 5 days until you're used to having earplugs. If they're still not comfortable, try another brand, look at something else, but it just takes time. Same with mouth tape, same with eye masks. These things aren't sort of things you get used to day one in most cases. The other thing to consider with earplugs, there's a positive and a negative to this, is that once you start using earplugs, it's really hard to go back. It's kind of like now if I go somewhere and I haven't got my earplugs, and I'm in a hotel or something and I forgot them, it is kind of difficult because you're so used to having earplugs that suddenly sleeping without them can be quite tricky. From a psychological perspective, but also the sounds, you might be more sensitive after using earplugs for a while. Therefore, if you are looking at these, just realize that this could be a lifelong change for you, and it's something you need to commit to. On the positive side, outside of just the fact that they block out a lot of noises that might wake you up, they kind of also have a psychological impact too. What I found is as soon as I put in earplugs, I'm gone. Literally within a minute, sometime I'm asleep. And I think a lot of it is just down to psychological aspects. Your brain's built this pattern where earplugs are associated with sleep, so as soon as you put in earplugs, it's time to sleep. And it's like a placebo effect, nearly. Therefore, this can have a benefit and a negative in terms of the long term, but it's just something I should say for full transparency and something you need to be aware of if you're thinking of going down this route. Now, another concern that people often have is, what if my alarm won't wake me up? How am I going to deal with this? And I would say this is not a fair complaint. I've never not been woken up by my alarm. I've never spoken to anybody who wasn't able to wake up because of these. They don't totally black out all the sounds. If your alarm's next to your bed and it's of a decent volume, you will wake up. Trust me on this. So I'm just going to have to swap that objection away. For I've got no evidence to show that that's ever happened to anyone. If it has happened to you, write in the comments, I want to know. But generally speaking, I've never heard of that actually happening. Now, the second objection that a lot of people say is, what if it's an intruder? What if somebody breaks into my house? First of all, if that regularly happens to you, where you're often having burglars or intruders in your house, yeah, maybe earplugs aren't for you. But if that's never happened and it's just a psychological thing, all I can say is make sure you lock your doors, get better security, and try and get that peace of mind so you can wear earplugs. I don't want to swat this one away. I can understand the anxiety over something like this, but if it means you're going to have more energy the next day, you're going to feel better about yourself and your life, then what is there to lose? Remember, we're not looking for perfection, we're looking for improvement. Test these out, and you can thank me later. Sleep well.